Hey, everybody, welcome to the Art of Relationship show. Hopefully, everybody's doing okay. And I'm going to be talking about what to do before you move in together or live together, right? Again, this is not a right or wrong situation. It is looking at what works for both of you. Okay. A lot of people move in together, they think it's great. It's terrific. Oh, we're going to be awesome, happy, at bliss. Everything's going to be perfect. However, you need to realize before you move in together, or maybe you never lived together before you got married. Okay. This will cover both aspects. Okay. Now, before you live together, you have to remember about expectations, right? If you remember from prior episodes, I'm huge on expectations. What do you expect when you live together, right? When it comes into who's going to pay the bills, right? Who is responsible for the home chores? What does a partnership look like? A lot of people look at, we're going to live together. Awesome. Terrific. I want that. Okay. But you have to have expectations. So when you move in together, it can go as smooth as possible. Nothing's perfect. There's going to be some bumps in the road. Okay. So I want people to be able to look at a realistic view of what needs to be expected when you move in together. I mentioned, finances. Who's responsible for the bills? Are you going to split the bills equally? Or if one person going to pay the rent or mortgage, the other one's going to pay utilities, groceries, whatever. Okay. Who's responsible for the chores around the house? Who's going to vacuum, dust? Who's going to do dishes? Who's going to cook? The laundry, that type of situation. Who's going to be responsible for the grass, the yard? If you have a yard, if you have an apartment or condo, you don't have to worry about that. However, these are situations about what to expect when you live together, and you need to be able to talk about them. And I don't want anyone to flip this script, not at all. Okay. I want people to understand, um, you know, try to decide what goes on. And if it doesn't work, you can be flexible and talk about it. But you need these main specifics dealt with, talked about, agreed upon before you move in together. Thinking about, I mentioned, if you have an apartment or condo, you don't have to worry about the yard. Cedric, hey, how's it going? I hope everybody's okay over there. Hey, Instagram. But talking about, where you're going to live. Do you want to rent a house? Do you want to rent an apartment? Do you want to rent a condo? Are you going to buy a place together before you move in together? These are all decisions. They're big. And a lot of people look at, everything's going to go smooth. And then one of you is going to expect everything this way, and the other one's going to expect everything going this way. So you need to be able to look at what goes on and what do you need to make it a smooth transition when you live together, right? And somebody asked me on Instagram, where are you from? I'm from actually Detroit area, Michigan, USA. So I want you to be able to look at, what are big expectations that you think it should go smoothly, that type of situation, right? What are the expectations if one person has to get up at 5 in the morning for work and the other one gets up at 8 or 9 in the morning for work? How are you going to work these transitions so you don't drive each other crazy and you don't annoy each other? A lot of times, a lot of people, when they move in together, a lot of people, when they get married, they don't talk about expectations, and then it goes sideways, right? I thought we'd do this. I thought it would be like this. And the other one, well, I didn't. I had no idea. I thought we would do this together, right? Everybody assumes certain situations, but I don't want to assume. I want you to be able to understand and have a plan that works for both of you. When you move in together, that's okay. Things could change. Maybe things will change. Maybe work hours change. Maybe, what happens if one of you loses a job, or the other one loses a job? How are you going to manage that? And I don't want bad things to happen. Okay, people. But I'm looking at how will you manage certain situations if they do occur. I don't want bad things to happen, but these are huge elements to talk about before you move in together. And if you don't have these conversations and you go into it blind, I hope it works out. I want people happy, in love, connected. Okay. However, I'm trying to stack the deck in your favor and to be able to look at what you need to make that transition as smooth as possible. Okay. With no big hiccups, right? Little hiccups are expected, but you don't want big ones to, sort of get thrown at you. And then you're like, what do we do? And it causes a relationship to go sideways or even destroy the relationship. I don't want that for you. Now, everybody join the chat. I would love you to join the chat. Throw out your questions, throw out your comments down below. Any questions about maybe you have experience when you moved in together and it didn't go as smooth as you anticipated, right? It could be, who's responsible for the toiletries, right? Cleaning the bathroom. I mentioned some chores earlier. What about quality time together? When you don't live together, you might have more free time, excuse me, to go with friends, to go with, family members. How are you going to, divide up maybe holiday time? What does, sort of a quality time look like? What does your own individual time look like with friends, family, and time together look at? A lot of people, they move in together, they get married and then move in together, whatever your situation is, and they assume it's going to look like a certain way. And then what happens, it doesn't go that way. So I want you to be open. I want you to be honest with yourself and what is important to you and what is important to your partner. And it's not an argument, it's looking at what can we do to, integrate our lives and integrate what's good enough for both of us. Don't expect perfection. It's not going to be, but you have to look at, what alone time looks like for you. What happens if you get in a disagreement or an argument and one person just wants to run out the door and leave for a bit and the other one is freaked out, feels like you're broken up, that type of situation. These need to be talked about and discussed fully, and to try to have a plan, what is agreeable, what's allowed, what's not allowed for the relationship and for each individual. Okay. What other, expectations maybe when you moved in together that you thought it would go a certain way and it didn't. Oh, I thought we'd move in together and we would go for a walk all the time. We'd exercise together. We would do whatever, right? And the other one comes home from work and just sits on the couch, watches TV, Netflix, chills, whatever. That's their evening, except for the weekend. Neither one are wrong. And that's where a lot of people get into trouble about looking at a right or wrong instead of, what, it's different. And what do we do to come together so we can have a successful relationship when we live together, when we, get married, if we haven't lived together? These are so crucial and they need to be talked about. And a lot of people will take these for granted. Excuse me. And then when it comes down to the situation, let's be real. You move in together, think, oh, we'll figure it out when we move in together. Great, terrific. Some things you can, but other things are like, oh my God, I thought we would be like this and then a certain way. Maybe, a little thing to some people might be, well, the plates go on the left side of the sink or, whatever, and the glasses go on the right, and they want the opposite, right? What about towels? What about where your clothes go together? These are little things that a lot of people think, oh, it's not really a big deal. And I don't want them to be, but I also don't want them to turn into a big deal. And some people are OCD about cleaning, about how things should go. Maybe some people leave their shoes by the door, and the other people are like, you know what? No, they have to go in the closet. You got to carry them to the bedroom, or I'm going to be annoyed. It's working together as a team, get a right from wrong, and then looking at, okay, what can we do that we're both happy, that we're both good enough? Nothing is perfect. There's going to be a give and take. So I want you to be able to understand, and I want you to be able to realize and talk about, if you're thinking about living together, great, awesome, terrific. How are your lives going to be when you live together? Like I said, I repeat myself, right? What do chores look like? How are bills going to be paid? Who's responsible for paying for the groceries. Not only the groceries, who's responsible for getting the groceries, right? Are you going to have them delivered? Are you going to go grocery shopping together? Are you going to buy toiletries together? What if one person loves a certain brand of cleaning supplies and the other one hates it and they want another cleaning supplies? What about laundry? Same thing, right? One's used to one brand of laundry detergent, the other one's used to another brand of laundry detergent, and they argue back and forth about what is right and wrong. That could be easy, right? If you decide on laundry, that you're going to each do your own clothes and not worry about each other's clothes, right? Then that won't be an issue. Simple, problem solved, right? But these are the things that couples might argue about, they might fight about. And to a lot of people, they might seem like it's not important, but to some people it is. And I'm not here to decide, and I'm not here to judge which one is right or wrong and which one, it's more important. You two decide, not anybody else. Okay. So that's where I want you to be able to talk about these aspects. And some people, they move in together, but they're maybe shy. They're afraid to bring up issues. They're afraid to talk about maybe intimacy, how sex is going to be. Are you even going to sleep in the same bed together? A lot of people will, oh, it's going to be this way again, and it's not. So you need to have these in place and look at what works best for you and your partner in the relationship. No, this does not mean you get your way all the time. No, it's what works best for both of you. And is it really a big deal what color the comforter bed sheets are? But to the other person, it might be a big deal what color the comforter and the bed sheets are. These are things that need to be talked about and discussed. What happens if one person always has to sleep with the light on, the TV on, or a fan on, and the other one hates the fan on and wants it pitch black out there. And you argue about right and wrong. It's what you're used to, right? But when you're living together, it's a compromise, it's a give and take. Now, maybe, okay, you can have the fan on, but it's got to be on low speed. You get me? So it's looking at coming together and compromising and realizing that it's not all about you right now. It's about the relationship and a give and take with each other. So write out a list. If you're thinking about, pretty soon living together, or you've never lived together and you're going to get married and then live together, think about how things are going to go. You need to have these conversations, because I don't want big surprises that come your way and then it creates disconnect, it creates constant argument and resentment, and then pretty soon the relationship or marriage is going to deteriorate. So start talking about these elements. What do you expect when you move in together? And you can look at who's going to cook, who's going to do dishes, there's so many elements like I talked about throughout this episode. But I want you to be prepared. I want your relationship to be as smooth as possible, in moving together, that transition to be as smooth as possible. How do you do that? You need to talk about it. You need to be able to understand what each other expects and what do you expect for the relationship as a whole. Okay. Check out my website. It's in the bio down below. Please follow me all over the place under Love Guru Greg on Instagram, of course, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, all over the place. Okay. And my website is in the bio, like I said, theartofrelationships.org. Thank you so much, people, for showing up, for watching this episode. And my passion has always been and always will be, I'm here for you. I'm here for people. My passion is trying to help people have the best relationship they can have, and also promoting self-love and self-respect. Okay. Peace and love to everybody out there. Happy Wednesday. Take care. Bye-bye.